Okay. All right. So remember to read the morning message with me. You do not have to unmute, but I would love to see your mouths moving saying these words. Okay. I'm also checking for your bodies. Check your bodies. Remember, the best Zoom etiquette is to be sitting up. Okay. Making sure we can see most of your face on the screen. All right. Here we go. Good morning, class. Today is Monday. Let me see those mouths. Monday, September 14th, 2020. I hope you had a relaxing weekend. This week, we will start to try our full schedule with our different subjects: reading, math, and writing. Love, Miss Granato. Thank you so much, boys and girls, for your participation. So your parents may have been asking, when are you going to be on your normal schedule? Last week, you guys said, when are we going to start learning our subjects? We're going to start working on those today, okay? All right. So next up, let's take a look at our growth mindset. We have a little bit of social emotional learning. So we are actually on episode 4 now with Mojo. So I'm going to go ahead, and our questions are going to be, let's think of our questions first before we watch the movie. Question 1, what are neurons? How do we make connections between them? Let me give you a hint. Neurons are inside your brain, okay? And then next, I want you to ask yourself, what can you do this week to make some new connections? Think of connections, think of your cubes, how you kind of connect them together. So be thinking of that as you watch this video called The Mysterious World of Neurons, okay?
Chapter 4: The Mysterious World of Neurons. Mojo arrived at school one day to find a happy surprise. His new device had finally arrived. But just as he was about to turn it on, Katie showed up. Mojo, what are you doing? Becoming a genius, said Mojo. How is that thing going to make you a genius? Said Katie. It's going to make my brain grow by zapping it with electricity. I thought that was obvious. Mojo, I think it's time for you to find out how your brain really works, said Katie. It's time to visit Miss Clara. Now, Miss Clara was a most curious character. Not long ago, she was a world-renowned neuroscientist, but her discoveries had inspired her to try a new challenge. And that's how she became an art and drama teacher. Miss Clara's classroom was in an expansion trailer far away from the main campus. Katie and Mojo made the long climb up the hill and found Miss Clara meditating in her garden. Katie, Mojo, I've been expecting you, said Miss Clara. Katie says you know how our brains work, said Mojo. Well, even scientists like me don't understand exactly how our brains work, said Miss Clara. But we do know a little. We know that your brain is made of tiny bits called neurons. Now, when these neurons connect, they send electrical signals back and forth to talk to each other. Everything you can do, from reading to riding a bike, only happens because your neurons connect. Now, here's the really fascinating thing. You have the power to change how your neurons are wired together and learn how to do things you never thought you could do. How? Asked Mojo. There is only one way, said Miss Clara, leaning closer. Learn challenging things. Mojo was fascinated. He turned to Katie. Katie, we're going after the biggest challenge you can imagine.
You're muted. Yeah.
Thank you. Look at you guys looking out for me. I appreciate it. All right, so who can share with me and unmute and tell me what did they say neurons were? What in the world? Neurons. Sophia, what did they say neurons were?
For your brain.
They're in your brain, and they said they're good for making Gianluca, you want to add to that? They're good for making connections. You got it. Oh my gosh. So when you are making connections in your brain is working so hard. So when you are on a task, a brand new task or something new, your brain and all those neurons start working together and go back into all the things that you've already learned. And then they start thinking, oh, you learned a little bit of this already in first grade. You learned a little bit of this at home. And now I'm going to try and make those connections with the new things that you're learning now to kind of help your brain even get more strong or get stronger. Okay. So that's what we're talking about. Exercising your brain, making those connections all the time. Excellent work. All right. So here's the next question. What can you do this week to make some new connections? I want you to try to set one specific goal. So I told you this morning, we're going to start some math, we're going to start some reading, and we're going to start some writing this week. What connections do you think you can make? Think about what you've done in first grade. Think about what you've already learned, maybe over the summer that you practice. And then just try to think, set a goal for yourself. What is your goal for second grade? About what connections you're going to make. And at this moment, I like how some of you are practicing saying it. Go on ahead and open the chat. And if you can, please go ahead and write your goal in the chat. All right, so part of our morning meeting, I just want to give you some more reminders. Just a heads up, remember I sent this parent letter out in Dojo last week. Dr. Sales came and talked to you. She will be making slime with us on Thursday. So if you haven't gotten your ingredients yet, you still have time. If you are having trouble getting your ingredients, Dr. Sales is actually on Class Dojo, and there is a way for your parents to send her a message on Class Dojo if you're having trouble finding the ingredients, okay? So if that happens, just shoot Miss Dr. Sales a message or shoot me a message, and then I will let her get in touch with you, okay? So remember that's coming up, all right? Now let me talk about your homework. Oh, yes.
I don't have one of these.
So let's take a look at your homework for this week. Your homework for this week, you actually do not have to turn anything in. Yay, let me see those cheers. You don't have to turn anything in, right? You're excited, yeah? There's nothing to have to make or have to. Yeah, there she goes. I see those hands. Ooh, Ashanti, yeah. Celebrate, girl. What you doing? Smile. All right, but you do have to do something for your homework, okay? But listen what you have to do. Number one, it's just practicing getting onto Clever, Google Classroom, and Miss Granato's website. Now, Miss Granato, I already practiced this last week. Well, guess what? I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but practice and practice and practice, that means you're just gonna only get better. I don't like to say practice
makes perfect.
I was actually gonna say that. Here's how I feel about practice makes perfect, okay? Perfect is a really tough word. And when people think of perfect, they think, oh, you can't make mistakes. But you know what? We make mistakes all the time, don't we? And it's actually okay to make those mistakes. So I don't like to say practice makes perfect. I like to say the more you practice, the better you get. All right. So you can still say practice makes perfect, but Miss Granato in second grade is going to say the more you practice, the better you're going to get. Okay. So the more that you practice getting onto Clever, Google Classroom, and Miss Granato's website, you're going to get faster, and hopefully you'll start learning how to get everywhere a lot faster. And then even while we're in class together, you'll learn how to move over and switch to all those different apps. That's what I really want y'all to do. Okay. All right, Mariah, take a drink of water if you've got some water next to you, sweetheart, okay? I know it is so early in the morning, but we're gonna wake up soon, I promise. All right, so number 2 for your homework, it says practice locating and using the camera app on your iPad or the laptop. So some more playing with your technology. Try to find the camera app and try to find it on your laptop as well. I have videos here for you that we'll be watching this week, and then you can practice with these videos at home too, okay? So there's a video that Miss Gomez made to show you how to do it on the iPads. And she even showed you something extra. She showed you how to take the picture and put it in Google Classroom, okay? So the second video that I found it on YouTube, and it's from a different guy. So if you see a different person, he's still a teacher. He may not be a teacher at Whitehead, but it's okay to watch because I've already watched his video and I like how he teaches boys and girls how to use a Chromebook. Some of you picked up a Chromebook from Whitehead, and so he shows you how to find the camera app, and then he shows you how to save that video on the drive, okay? And then the last video is just any normal laptop, any other laptops you might have, or computers or desktops. There's another video that shows you how you can find your camera, okay? And then of course, number 4, always read a book. Okay, so I'm gonna pause. I have 2 hands up, so I will call on you to talk. Hopefully your question is related to the homework. If your question is not related to the homework, you may wanna just put it in the chat, okay?
Miss Granato.
Oh, hang on one second. Give me a thumbs up if you can see the blue words that are underlined on my screen. Give me a thumbs up if you see these pictures that have a blue box around them. All right, so when I put this into Google Classroom, anything that has a blue color and it's underlined or a blue box around it, that means you can click on it. And when you click on it, it's gonna take you to where you need to go. So that's why I wanted you to practice Google Classroom, because I can start putting your work on Google Classroom. And then instead of asking me, where do I find it? All you gotta do is click, and usually it's in Google Classroom, okay? All right, questions about that? Go ahead, Maylee, and then Josiah. All right, it is 9 o'clock and I have already put in attendance. Also, I wanted to let you know that this homework is in Spanish as well. So when I post it on Class Dojo, there'll be two of them, English and Spanish, if you need help from your parents. But on Google Classroom, I will only put the English ones, okay? Because in school, you guys are responsible for Google Classroom, and you should all be able to work on reading English, okay? All right, so quick note about Class Dojo, just to remind you, these are some of the skills and points that you can get, okay? And then don't forget the koala dollars. Almost every single one of you has been earning $3 every single day. So let me remind you what the $3 are for. Number 1, work completion. So last week, you also got koala dollars if you did your poster and if you turned in your writing to me, okay, which was taking a picture and having your parents send it to me. Also, being kind. So if you notice to the left, do you see the hearts? Those are 2 different ways that we can be kind this week. And so when I see those hearts on your Class Dojo, bam, you instantly get a koala dollar, okay? Another koala dollar for behavior, when you're following those directions, like when we do scholar checks, when you're participating, when I ask you to raise your hand, when I ask you to wait, anytime you're following those directions, bam, another koala dollar. And then there's bonus koala dollars for every single one of you who has arrived on time right before 8:30 or even a little close to 8:30. You're still on time, so you've been accountable. That's an extra koala dollar. And then you also have a chance at specials if you're the star student in specials. Brianna, is your question about koala dollars or Class Dojo? All right, so other quick things to remember. Don't forget your Zoom signals. Always remember those so it's easy to kind of talk to everybody. If you have a question that is related to my topic, I will call on you. If it is not related to our topic, please use the chat to send me that message, okay? Because we don't have a lot of time together online. I want to make sure I get to everything that we need to, all right? Don't forget our online shine for celebrations, okay? Other signals, remember when you are showing me these signals, hold them up to the camera so that I can actually see all your fingers. Because look, if I did my hand like this, do you know what finger I'm using? Yeah, I see. Nope, you can't tell. You gotta hold it up to the camera. All right. And the Zoom chat. I've been telling you to put unrelated topics in the Zoom chat, okay? Ooh, we will talk about that soon, Ashanti. Here's the different ways that it looks like on your laptop and maybe on your iPad. Find the button that says chat, use your keyboard and click enter to send me that message, okay? All right, I'm going to actually skip this part right here because this is actually going to be later in our messages. We're going to talk about how to upload to Google Classroom. Okay, so for now, I want to give us a quick little break because we will be going to specials soon. I want to give you guys a chance to wake up, use the restroom, get water, maybe eat a little breakfast if you didn't eat breakfast, and then I'll give your friends some time to talk and share with each other. Okay?
How long is the break?
This one is about 2 minutes, but I'm also going to give you a few more minutes to just talk with your friends. Okay? All right, go ahead. If you need to use the restroom and get water, you can go. Ashanti, where'd you go?
She's at the bottom.
Oh, okay. Is she okay, sweetheart? Is your mom okay? You don't have to share if you don't want to.
Yep. She just gonna have her baby tomorrow.
Oh, that's so exciting. Do we know, is it a boy or a girl?
It's a boy.
It's a boy. Ooh. All right, so I'm going to resume the recording. Again, whole group reading is going to be phonics, read alouds, shared reading, and mini lessons. There's a picture of me reading there, and there's also a picture of what's called Jamboard. We'll be teaching you about Jamboard today. All right, so let me click on this link, and what happens is I'm going to be clicking on this link, and then it takes me to all these different slides. So it's going to look a little different sometimes, but all the other second grade teachers will be able to see it as well. Thank you for those awesome scholar checks. I love not having to see just your eyeball. I like seeing your whole face, and thank you for not showing me just the walls. And be careful when you put those your nose up in the camera. You don't want anybody seeing what's up there. All right, boys and girls. Okay, get ready. Show me you're focused. Thank you. I can tell you're focused when your eyes are on me, you're listening, and anything else you have is put away. Thank you. All right, so in reading, here's our unit. Our first unit is called We Are Ready to Read and Write. So there will still be some more expectations we're going to learn, and we're going to do that together. So day one, says my koala. We're talking about phonics. We got about 5 minutes to talk about phonics. First off, I want you to think. Put your thinking caps on, turn those neurons on, try to make some connections. First grade. Look at that blast book. First grade. What do you remember about phonics or maybe really great reading? What do you remember? Think first. If you can remember something, give me a thumbs up and I might ask you to share. What do you remember about really great reading from first grade? Ooh, not the appropriate question right now. I will tell you about our schedule soon, okay? Lunch is always going to stay the same all week, all right? So if you remember 11, that's coming up, all right? Okay, so for reading. All right, so our story is called Horace Morris and mostly Dolores, okay? Have any of you seen this story before? Maybe, maybe not. Yes, no. Okay. All right. So in this story, it's about 3 friends, okay, and they're mice, and they have something going on with each other, okay? They're really, really good friends, but then they have a problem, okay? So listen to the story and see if you can hear or figure out what the problem is.
Horace and Morris, but mostly Dolores, by James Howe, illustrated by Amy Walrod. Genre: fantasy is a make-believe story that could never happen in the real world. What makes this story a fantasy?
Horace and Morris, but mostly Dolores, loved adventure. They sailed the 7 sewers. They climbed Mount Everrust. They dared to go where no mouse had gone before. Horace and Morris, but mostly Dolores, never said, "This is something we shouldn't do." They said, "This is something we've got to do." And so there was almost nothing they didn't do. Horace and Morris and Dolores were friends, the greatest of friends, the truest of friends. The now and forever I'm yours sort of friends. And then one day, Horace and Morris had a decision to make. They didn't want to do anything without Dolores, but as Horace pointed out, a boy mouse must do what a boy mouse must do. Bet you can't say that 3 times real fast, Dolores said with a smile. Horace and Morris didn't even try. They didn't even smile. Goodbye, Dolores, they said. What kind of place doesn't allow girls? Dolores wondered as she watched her friends step through the door of the Mega Mice Clubhouse. Yikes! Downhearted, Dolores went on her way, alone. It wasn't long before Dolores had a decision to make. She didn't really want to do anything without Horace and Morris, but she figured a girl mouse must do what a girl mouse must do. She said this aloud 3 times, real fast, just to prove that she could. A girl mouse must do what a girl mouse must do. I'll bet Horace and Morris couldn't do that, she thought. But she wasn't smiling as she stepped through the door of the Cheese Puffs Clubhouse. Day after day, Dolores went to the Cheese Puffs. Day after day, Horace and Morris went to Megamice. They missed playing with each other, but as they said, a girl mouse must do what a girl mouse must do. A boy mouse must do what a boy mouse must do. Horace and Morris and even Dolores were sure their friendship would never be the same.
Quick question. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. When they said a boy mouse must do what a boy mouse must do, or a girl mouse must do what a girl mouse must do you think that was a kind thing to do to their friend Dolores? Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Was that kind? Okay, I see mostly thumbs down. I see some thumbs up. Okay, all right, we'll talk about those and why we think that is kind or that is not kind.
But then, one day, Dolores made a different decision. I'm bored, she announced. The other girls stared. Anybody here want to build a fort? How about a Roquefort? The other girls booed. Okay, forget the cheese. I'm sick of making things out of cheese anyway. Let's go exploring. The other girls gasped. Phooey, said Dolores. I quit. If you quit, then I quit too, a small voice said from the back of the room. Outside, Dolores introduced herself. I'm Dolores. I'm Cloris, said the girl. Now, where can we go to have some real fun around here? Dolores thought and thought. I've got it, she said at last. Who wants to go exploring? With girls? Yuck! No way. I do. Me too. Can I come too, please? The 5 friends spent the rest of the day exploring. Cloris and Boris and Horace and Morris, but mostly Dolores.
I have one other question in here. Why do you think Horace and Morris want to go exploring with Dolores? Just think, why do you think Horace and Morris want to go exploring with Dolores now? Okay, Josiah, I see your hand.
Maybe because they were friends before and they want to be friends again.
Oh, maybe. That makes sense, right? Sophia? Oh, look at her. She agrees with you. Yeah. Do you think they like to go exploring? Yeah, maybe. Yep. I see some hands. I see some nods. All
And the next day, they built a clubhouse of their own.
all right. So there's the end of our story. And so they ended up building a clubhouse on their own. What did you think about the ending? Mariah, what did you think about that ending? You liked it? I see a thumbs up. Anything else you want to say about that ending? No? Okay. Anybody want to add to that? She said she liked the ending. Can anybody tell me why they liked the ending? Today. So take a look at my lesson for today. My lesson says, listen carefully to each other. Today, we will learn the expectations for listening in a small group, like when you went to a breakout room, or when you're listening with a whole group, where like right now we have everybody. All right. Emily, I see your hand. Because if we notice, a lot of our friends just weren't sure what to say. So maybe if we listened a little bit more carefully to each other, we may be able to get ideas on what we can say. Remember this morning, making those connections in our neurons, you can actually get ideas from your classmates about what to say. And honestly, I'm okay if you say some of the same things, because that even shows me that you were listening to someone, okay? But when you're unable to give a response, we may need to work on, okay, we got to listen to each other a little more. And then we got to figure out what are some things that we can do while we're listening to each other so that we can help make our own answers. Okay. So think about the conversations that you have in your life. Who are the people that you talk to all the time? Do you talk to your friends? Yeah, maybe. I see some thumbs up, some hands. Do you talk with your parents? Yeah. Think about the people at school. Do you talk to your teachers, your principals? Yeah, each other. Good. I hope so. And let's think about what types of conversations do you have? What are the different things that you might even talk to them about? Maybe if you look at my pictures, maybe you talk to them about slime or arts and crafts or things that you did over the weekend. Maybe you talk to your friends about sports or some movies, things that you saw on TV or in your video games. Or if some of you are on TikTok or online and you see these cool videos, maybe you talk about what you saw. Okay. So here's a little bit more about friendship. Think about this question. What does it take to be a good friend? I know every one of you has at least one good friend. Think about, what does that mean, or what do you have to do to be a good friend? So here's an example of what you could say. To be a good friend, you need to blank. Also, it's very important to blank. You can fill those in with lots of different things. Think about your expectations. Think about how you treat your friends. Okay, be thinking about that. As some of our friends talk, I'm going to use the random wheel. As some of your friends talk, oh, good idea, Emily. If you want to write it down just so you don't forget, you can. That's a good idea. As we talk to each other, I will be looking at the screens. And if you can see more people on your screen, maybe swipe your iPad. If you can see more people on your screen, I want you to pay attention to how you can tell that someone is listening to you. Okay? So be ready to look at the screens so you can see, what are your friends doing that prove that they're listening to me? Okay? Because I will be asking that. So my question was, what does it take to be a good friend? And you can use this sentence. To be a good friend, you need to blank. Also, it is very important to blank. If you just want to say one sentence, that is okay. All right, let's look at my randomizer here. Moises, are you still here with me? I think I lost Moises, Miss Hill. All right, we're gonna go find him. Maybe he's still stuck in his other breakout room. All right, more random. Mei Lee, do you have something you could say about what it takes to be a good friend?
I could help them when they need help, like when they got hurt on the playground.
Oh, okay. I noticed your friends were looking at you and they looked at your camera when you said that. So if I put your answer in this sentence, to be a good friend, you need to help them. I like how you gave an example. Very nice. All right. Someone else? Brylan. All right, Brylan, your name popped up. Okay, to be a good friend, you need to do what? What do you need to do to be a good friend? Think about your quality expectations. You can borrow some of those ideas. Okay, don't forget to unmute, Brylan. Can you finish that sentence for me? To be a good friend, you need to what? Oh, I saw your mouth move, but I don't think I heard you.
Participate.
Oh, you need to participate with them? Hey, that's a good idea. If your friend invited you to play a game to be a good friend, would that, oh, look, Brylan, you got some people giving hearts. A lot of your friends loved that idea. I can tell they were listening to you. Look at that. All right, so yeah, participating with them. If you get invited to a game, to be a good friend would be to participate in that game or an activity that you do with them. All right. Let's get one more share, and if I don't get to you, you can always throw your answer in the chat. Josiah, your name popped up. All right, can you share with us? What does it take to be a good friend?
So like when someone hurts, when someone hurts themselves, it's nice to I forget.
You forget? So, well,
I forgot my idea.
well, you got it started. So I bet since your friends are listening, I can see some of them listening. They're like raising their hands too. Their eyes are on you. So let's see if we can try to help Josiah remember what he was trying to say. So when someone gets hurt, I think that's what you said, right? When you see that someone may have gotten hurt, what is a nice thing to do for your friend if they get hurt? Asa?
To actually help them get up and walk them to the teacher.
Ooh, so that's a good one. That's one idea, right? And there's so many other things you can do. So helping your friend, maybe getting them to an adult. Vivian chatted with me and she said it's good to be kind and to share with your friends. Anybody agree? I see some hearts. I see some, yeah, agrees. Violet, your name popped up. Thank you, Asa.
It's good to comfort your friends.
Ooh, I like that word. Everybody say comfort.
Comfort.
Yeah, so to comfort your friends, yeah, kind of like when you're helping them, right? So when someone's feeling down and they need a little help, it's good to comfort them. If they're not feeling well, check in on them using kind words. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, there's lots of different things you can do. All right, so let's take a look at this. And I'm gonna write some of your answers down real quick just because we're running out of time. So I don't know if you saw the Zoom chat, but how did you know that someone was really listening to you? What were your friends doing on the screen, or what did they say to prove that they were listening to you? Did anybody notice? Maylee, how did you know your friends were listening to you?
Because when I was talking, I could see them looking at me.
Ooh.
And them putting signals.
Oh, very nice. I'm going to actually type it on here. So one way we can prove that we are listening to someone is we can look at them. If you're face to face with someone, where's the best place to look at them? Can you point to me on your face? Oop, Mariah touched them. It's best to look at what are these? Los osos, what are they?
Eyes.
Your eyes. Yes, thank you for pointing. So when you're listening to someone carefully, it's important to look them in the eyes or look at them, especially if you're on Zoom. There's a lot of eyes on Zoom, aren't there? It's kind of hard to look at everyone's eyes, but it's important to try to look at their eyes. And then she added a second one, which some of you started signaling too. On Zoom, I'm going to type here, on Zoom, we can give signals, right? Those signals, if I can spell it properly, those signals, I saw some people saying hearts because they loved what you said. I saw the me too because they agreed with the things that you said. They can't do that if they weren't listening, huh? Or if they weren't focused. Sometimes when it's their turn, they might look at the camera and be like, I'm not sure. But that's why we're going to practice listening to each other, okay? Ashanti, what did you notice about your friends and how they proved that they were listening to you?
Because I was looking at all of them, and then they was looking at me, and I seen all of them looking at me, so I know that they was paying attention to me.
Absolutely. So yeah, so see, number one, again, they were looking at you. They were focused. They were listening by giving you hand signals, things like that. Okay. Did any of your friends have a face that looked kind of like this? I saw someone have that. What do you think that person was doing? It's not that they were bored of you. What were they doing when they were doing this? Asa, what do you think those people were doing?
Thinking.
Oh my
Think
goodness.
what their answer should be.
Maybe they were thinking about what their answer should be, but if they were listening to someone else, do you think they were listening to what that person said or thinking about what that person said? Yeah, let's put that on there. So I know they're listening to me because they were thinking about what the speaker is saying. Okay. All right. And one more thing, which I did notice a lot of you doing, even though I was doing the randomizer, what were your friends doing? I think Sophia's doing it right now. What were your friends doing that proved that they were listening to me and they wanted to share their answer too? Ooh, I see Vivian did it too. Ooh, Asa's doing it now. Ooh, Violet's doing it. Ooh, Moises, where did you go? Why is he popping in? There you are, sweetheart. Look at your friends. What are they doing?
Raising your hand.
Oh, Moises. Oh, your voice changed. You sounded like Asa all of a sudden. Thank you, Asa. Let's see if you can use your Moises voice. Moises, what were your friends doing to show that they were listening? Go ahead and unmute. What were they doing? I'm doing it right now.
Raise your hand.
Yeah, thank you. Look at your friends helping. You guys are such great friends. I can tell you're listening because some of you are giving those hand signals to help Moises figure out what to say. What a great idea. It's a good thing you were focused and paying attention to them, Moises. So yeah, raising their hand. Oops, I don't know why my letters got big. Oops. All right, so they were raising their hand to speak next. All right, so those are such great ideas. So now we're going to get ready and go to lunch. And when we come back to lunch, I'm going to be watching you guys a little bit more closely because it looks like together you just made this chart. It shows me that you know what it means and what you look like when you're listening to others. And I'm going to be looking for that very closely. And I want you to look for it too. If you think we can add any more things to our chart, please make sure you come back and share with us, okay? All right, so before you go off to lunch, here's a quick reminder.